small business drives the economy. I read a stat in the Wall Street Journal that something like 92% of all employment growth was started with companies with less than 100 employees. That is the future of America, small business. You have to have the courage in your business to have a target, and you got to get to that target. You got to keep moving. If they can't catch you, they can't overtake you. You got to go fast. Even a mouse cannot be crushed by an elephant if it keeps moving. Even if you work for somebody, if you're not adding value, you have no job security. If we were to look at the internet as the industrial age, we're barely past stage one. There are currently roughly 3 billion people globally connected to the internet, and there are roughly 5 billion IP addresses. If you're a success or a failure, there's usually only one person to blame. It's the person you look at in the mirror every morning. Every day, you got to wake up and you got to go out and get a customer. It's all consuming. It's a living, breathing thing. When it wants to eat, it wants to eat. It doesn't care what you're doing. Everybody wants success, but very few people are willing to pay the price. And you know why? Because it's really hard.
We have a very special guest with us this morning, and that is Robert Herjavec of ABC's Shark Tank and founder and CEO of Herjavec Group. It's great to see you this morning. We love that you're on with us, and you have lots of incredible news, and you're going into the 11th season of Shark Tank, but you are a cybersecurity expert, and that's one of your topics this morning, right?
I am, thank you. And the show starts on Sunday. We're excited, 11 seasons, but yes, Cybersecurity Month is coming up in October.
So first of all, you feeling okay today? I mean, I know that you have a whole lifetime. I read your entire story growing up and grandma on the farm and a waiter and a salesman and also working on as a director or a third assistant. You've had such a great role, and you have 3 books, which I looked through as well. You know, what's your first element of advice before we get to cybersecurity? I mean, what's your advice? Well, how do you do it?
You know, I think we see a lot of people that come on the show. You got to love, it's such a cliche, but you have to love what you do. I mean, I wake up every day and I can't wait to get going. I can't sleep at night because I'm so excited about the next day. And if you're not that committed, somebody out there that you're competing with is. So you got to love what you do and you'll be great at it.
I love your, constant energy.
Yeah, I've been in cybersecurity since I was in my early 20s, so that was just 10 years ago. Nah, just kidding. I've been doing it for a long time, and first of all, it's exciting to do something now that the world cares about. Not only from a security, look at our elections, look at all the issues, but also from a compliance perspective. We have a partnership with Google who's making a great security product called Backstory. And, I think it's just more people are online, everything is being connected, and the world is a very dangerous place online. So we have a lot of advice for people to stay safe. Don't do your banking on public Wi-Fi. The number one thing for security still to this day, if you can believe it, is phishing emails. And we tell people, don't answer an email that you're not sure who the sender is. You didn't win a lottery that you didn't enter. You're really not that sexy. There isn't a woman in Russia that wants to marry you, and those kind of things. And they seem silly, but believe it or not, people still answer those kind of emails.
Yeah, I saw you were saying, some dumb mistakes, and those were some of them, and falling for ransomware, these phishing things that you referred to, and being careful.
And phishing's getting better because some of the banking stuff today looks like it comes from your actual bank. And the advice we always give people is your bank is never going to ask you for personal information or your PIN number via email.
What I think is amazing, and I love that you have a show that I can watch with my children. And I know you have a beautiful family, older kids and twin children. Thank you for making a show that I can watch and inspire my teenagers with. So first of all, thank you, Robert, for that. The second thing that I was—
It's so inspiring.
It really is.
It's so inspiring to be on a show that little kids love.
Oh, and they think you're so cool. They think you're so cool, and I love that. I love that. You know, one thing that I thought was interesting in your story, when you talk about an inspiration, you really were a hustler, right? And your time at LogicQuest, were you actually fired from that job? I read one place
I
you were
wasn't fired from that job.
Okay.
I was fired from a waitering job because I just couldn't go to work. I was working as a waiter and running my business 24 hours a day. I was doing 3 jobs at that point.
What kind of?
And one day,
go ahead. Tell
one
me.
day I had an opportunity to make a big sale, and I couldn't show up for the waitering job. It's the only time in my lifetime that I was late and didn't show up for a job, and I felt awful. And the manager, when she fired me, actually cried. She said, "You're so good here, but I have to fire you. It's our policy."
Oh,
and
geez.
I felt bad.
Oh, geez, that's a good story. That's a good story. Yeah, go ahead.
But you got to hustle. You know, that's the thing. Everybody who comes on our show, you've got to hustle. You've got to sell yourself. You've got to believe in your idea, because if you're not out there hustling in the most positive way, no one's going to do it for you. The world is a very tough, competitive place. You've got to look out for yourself, and you've got to tell the world why you're worth spending time with.
Right, you can't cheat the grind, right? We know it. It knows.
Oh, I love that.
Right? You can't cheat the grind. If you use it,
I've never heard that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to write that down. Where's my phone?
I know. Well, first of all, you know, congratulations how you created this company in your basement or something, right? Your BRAK. That ended up being BRAC, is sold for $30 million.
Yep.
I mean, you're a genius. But as we move forward, what's your investment advice for people? I mean, now we know you have some bucks. So how do you divvy it up? I mean, do you invest in the market? What kind of investment advice do you give to people?
Yeah, absolutely. I invest in the market. I think it. You know, you cannot beat the returns you're going to get in the market over the long term. I tend to be a little more pragmatic. I try to invest in companies that I really believe in and have a bit of a longer time frame than I think most people. So I'm not looking to flip stocks. I'm not looking to, you know, get rich quick kind of stuff. But I'm also not like Charlie Munger trying to hold that investment for 20 years.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of great companies out there that you have to ask yourself, they may be suffering some short-term pain, but is this a brand that's going to be sustainable over 10 years?
Did you see CrowdStrike, the IPO this year? This is in your world of cybersecurity. We've had a lot of great IPOs. Any thoughts on the IPO market or CrowdStrike in particular?
Yeah, I know George Kurtz, the founder of CrowdStrike, and Dimitri over there really well. I think, you know, I love the product. It's an incredible product. I'm amazed that a $250 million company got an $18 billion valuation at one point. I think it's come down off that, but it just goes to show you the appetite for that industry and our industry. You know, I think the IPO market's cooling a little bit. Look at Peloton yesterday. It was down, I think, 12% at the end of the day or something like that. What the market is telling me is if your company can't make money, you're going to have a tough time at an IPO. I think Peloton's an incredible brand. I think that Uber is an incredible brand, but the stock price is reflecting the fact they haven't figured out a way to profitability, and the investor appetite today is for profit.
Right. You know, if they have no cash, they're not making cash, maybe you should think twice about investing in that particular company. So you don't use your, you know, real go-get. I know you're a car collector, you like your motorcycles, your Ducati, you seem like a fast type of personality, you're a scuba diver, but when you invest in the market, you're not Charlie Munger, okay, you're not keeping it forever, but your time spent, do you like equities or bonds, or do you like tech, or
I like it.
What do you like?
I like equities, and I like to invest. My general rule is invest in something you understand. I understand Peloton. I mean, I like Peloton, I love SoulCycle, but I like Peloton. I understand Uber, but I have to see a way to profitability, so I'm very conservative that way. I'm very risky in work in my traditional company because we're trying to take market share and scale, but I'm very conservative in my investments.
Well, it's great to have spoken with you. Good luck on all the investments and season 11 of Shark Tank. And the best to you and your beautiful family. as well. And thanks for coming
Thank you.
on.
You can't cheat the grind.
You can't cheat
love that.
the grind. All right. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Robert Herjavec, Shark on ABC's Shark Tank, founder, CEO, Herjavec Group.